Since its release, Silent Hill F has already been regarded as one of the best entries in the franchise. It's fun, it's scary, and the main actress... my goodness. With my mentally ill mind as usual, I thought to myself, how could I make this game nearly unbeatable? Puzzle Master and Clear Skies are both achievements you get by beating Silent Hill F on Lost in the Fog, the game's hardest difficulty. Now, these achievements by themselves aren't that bad, because New Game Plus lets you keep your faith, your stat upgrades, even your collected Amamori. But with the saga behind this madness, Rikishi07 decided to make Lost in the Fog only playable on New Game Plus, since it's just that brutal. Which got me thinking, what if I beat the base game with no faith upgrades, no Amamori, basically making New Game Plus no different than a brand new save file? But what if we took this one step further? A no-death run. In the Silent Hill community, we've seen plenty of deathless runs, but what makes this one different is the combat. This game doesn't even give you a gun. You're handed things like pipes, knives, and sickles, and despite being extremely effective at cutting grass, they remain immensely ineffective at, well, combat. So please, sit back, relax, grab your snacks, and watch me endure Silent Hill F Lost in the Fog without dying. Yo, guys, we are so close to hitting 80k. Thank you so much. Just for the special occasion, let's see if we can get to 80k by tomorrow. Now, before we start the challenge, I gotta thank today's sponsor, Opera GX, baby. This is the browser built for gamers and horror fans like us. And I've personally used this for years, so trust me when I say this, it's genuinely amazing. GX comes with an ad blocker, so those creepy stalker ads, gone. Quite literally straight into the fog. It's also got a built-in VPN, so you can disappear online, switch locations, and hide your IP. Basically, go full James Sunderland mode. Use my link and code EGGPLANT for a free month of VPN Pro through the end of 2025. And of course, dark mode, because no one's trying to browse a blinding white screen in October. My favorite part though, GX mods. You can turn your whole browser into a horror experience. Ambient music, creepy tab sounds, animated wallpapers, even full-on themes. They have awesome ones that you can get right now, like Resident Evil 4, Silent Hill 2, and if all that doesn't suit you, you can even make your own custom mod. Escaping from your old browser is easy too. Opera GX Quick Import tool pulls over your history, bookmarks, and cookies, and it even works with Chrome extensions. Stop suffering through that old browser and switch to Opera GX using my link below. So officially starting Lost in the Fog on New Game Plus, we're loading in with a completely clean slate. Here's footage of me at the last boss, literally deleting everything in my inventory right before finishing the story. Yeah, I'm that committed. The game opens with our first cutscene, a flashback of our main character, Hinako Shimizu, playing with a doll. And I can't help but already feel bad, because she is about to go through this nightmare right alongside with us. Fast forward to the present, it's clear we're part of a crumbling family, and our only escape is to leave the house. With the challenge officially underway, our main objective is simple: find our friends. So we make our way down the hill, where I immediately start to realize something about myself. I think I've just self-diagnosed with OCD, because for the rest of this challenge, you're going to see me scouring every single corner for any scrap of loot I can find. Coming across a Hokora, we learn this is how you save your game. Or I guess we won't really be doing that often. Though you can still use it to upgrade, but with me having about as little to my name as an art major, I just move on. Climbing up to the back of a nearby house, we find empty beer bottles and a magazine that reads, "A woman is only complete when she's loved." And with Hinako already dealing with more issues than the challenge itself, I could only assume what awaited for us ahead wasn't just a physical test, but a mental one too. Entering a house that's wide open, we start scavenging through every room. And during our little loot fest, we find a few items like arare, but more importantly, multiple locked chests that all need a key. Now, I don't remember this being part of the base game, so I'm already suspicious. Heading upstairs, we come across a balcony key, which finally lets us progress through the house. And our reward, our first upgrade, packing tips, increasing our inventory slots by 1. Homies and homettes, this was huge. Oh, and we finally get the key to all those boxes, and unlocking them gives us a handful of notes. Very interesting lore-wise, but completely useless for this challenge. Leaving the house and heading towards the town, we get another cutscene, this time an abandoned car blocking our way and a decomposing bird underneath it. Things were already starting to get weird. Like, where is everyone? I mean, come on. Seriously. With the town seemingly empty, we finally run into one of our friends. After one of the most awkward interactions I've had in a while, we move forward and meet our bestie, Shu. We are having this peaceful little reunion when suddenly this menace of a girl walks up and rudely interrupts us. A moment later, this girl from earlier joins in, and just like that, we officially have a squad. But apparently I'm the only one noticing the unnatural amount of fog rolling in, and out of nowhere, one of our friends starts to die. And, yeah. If you got tryphobia, now's the time to look away. We're thrown straight into our first chase sequence, and I need to make this very clear. These are one of the most dangerous parts of a no-death run in Silent Hill F. There are multiple chase sequences throughout the game, and none of them are kind. One slip up, instant reset. During the first chase, we're forced to navigate through the town, which normally wouldn't be that bad, but on Lost in the Fog difficulty, the fog itself starts spawning way more of those red vines that'll grab you if you get too close. It makes running anywhere a complete gamble. Reaching a dead end, our friend drops a ladder for us to escape. Barely making it out alive, we slip through an alley, finally finding safety. And just like that, we've survived our truly first dangerous section of this challenge. Being severely injured, we learned that Shu slipped us some painkillers earlier to help with our headaches. But now, we're actually going to need them, because once again, I've decided to do something completely masochistic. We also grab a bandage, and finally our first weapon of the game, a steel pipe. Normally in New Game Plus, you would already have a whole arsenal of items by now, but this time, this is all we got. Our next objective is to make it to the general store where we got jumped earlier. So instead of using the bandages right away, I decided to take the painkillers instead, since they heal less overall, but work over time. For this video, I ended up developing a little strategy. Use painkillers outside of combat as much as I can, and save the stronger / quicker heals for when things really get ugly. Making it to an alleyway, we get our first encounter. Yep, I knew something was off. Usually they give you a nice little cutscene here to ease you into the fight, but since this is New Game Plus, I guess they just decided to jump scare me instead. After being hit with the worst kind of attack, a grab, we lose not only health, but our focus too. So I decided to run away. That is only to immediately run into another Kashimashi, our first real enemy. Their name literally means noisy, and honestly, it's starting to add up. Trying to loot the area while 3 of these things are crawling around was probably not my best decision. We hit a dead end, grab a few more heals and a note, and just like that, I step back outside and I get jumped. From the sky? You literally can't make this up. With no upgrades, the best I could do was hit her twice before completely running out of stamina. This was going to be rough. So I pull off the ultimate survival strat, break her ankles, and keep moving. We climb up, cut through an alley, get jumped again, and now I'm sitting at critical health. Too scared to heal, I just sprint into the nearest house, and thankfully the door shuts behind me, giving me a chance to breathe. Looting both downstairs and upstairs, we find more heals in a locked door. Then I notice it. A disgusting mask on the floor with a key jammed inside its head.
That's fucking disgusting.
Collecting it unlocks the door, but of course, this game throws another enemy right at us. I should have run, because during that pathetic excuse for a fight, I unfortunately had my first reset. Oh my gosh. Repeating pretty much everything the exact same, we end up right back inside of that cursed house. Now you might be thinking, Corey, just skip the room. I can't. It's got a very necessary item, the back door key, which we literally need to leave the house. Though I didn't actually need to kill the enemy guarding it. Why didn't I think of that sooner? I have no idea. But it's fine because after a long, painful struggle, we finally killed it anyway. Heading back downstairs and unlocking the back door, we find our first Amamori, the whale. Its ability, you won't get interrupted by normal attacks. But I equipped it anyways and pushed forward through the alleyway, where at this point I've developed crippling PTSD with every corner I turn. Still trying to reach the general store, we run into more Kashimashi, which honestly wouldn't be too bad if Hinako's stamina wasn't lower than the 4 monsters currently sitting on my desk. Along the way, we pick up an antique comb, which in Silent Hill F can be sold for faith, basically the in-game currency. So when we reach another Hokora, I sell off almost everything, except for my vital heals, just to get a little bit of faith. Moving deeper into the town, we find a kitchen knife, easily one of the best weapons in the game. Well, beside the literal lightsaber. Yeah. We also come across a toolkit where the game reminds us that yes, weapons can actually break, and on Lost in the Fog difficulty, they break pretty fast. So I decide we're saving those repairs for desperate times only. Coming around a suspicious corner, I knew exactly what was about to happen. I'm too good. I'm too good. I'm too good, bro. I knew it. Sure enough, after making it to the general store, we find our dead friend from earlier lying there. She's truly gone. We bring her inside and to the best of our ability, give her a proper burial. While resting, one of those loud little brats shows up again, trying to ruin my suffering. And the game finally forces us into a light encounter. Basically a tutorial for how to fight. I tried to use it as an excuse to practice dodging and managing my already tragic stamina, but at low health, I made the worst mistake possible. I went to heal while backing up, straight into a red vine, which for some reason deals damage now, and it kills me instantly. Oh my gosh, bro. I ran it all back, doing almost everything the same, but now with about an hour of extra experience. We finally push through that forced encounter, and in the process, Hinako snaps. And that's when I realized this challenge isn't just breaking me, it's breaking her too. After being hit with another brutal headache, we pass out. And when we wake up, we are somewhere else. It looks like another realm entirely, and the only thing in sight is a puzzle, in which we are forced to solve our first puzzle on Lost in the Fog difficulty. Luckily, this one wasn't too bad, but right after solving it, something starts making our headache unbearable. We try to leave, but the door won't open, so we force it, and ram right into a man wearing a fox mask. Feeling like I just stepped into the next manhwa, he hands us a lantern and starts walking, so naturally, we follow him through whatever cursed place this is. Eventually, we catch up to him, only to get separated by a locked door that needs another puzzle to open. Backtracking, we stumble across the same doll we saw from our childhood. But the doll wasn't the only thing waiting around the corner. We are introduced to a new monster, and I have no idea what its name is because there's literally nothing online about it, which makes it even more terrifying. Anyway, these things are crazy, and they are going to be a problem later. Thankfully, in this dreamlike state, we are given a set of tools, ones that simply don't have durability. So for once, I can actually fight without worrying about it breaking. Carefully managing my stamina, we take it down and find the first part of the puzzle. The first piece, some weird Elden Ring looking creature. The second piece, another Elden Ring looking creature. And the third, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention. Enemies in this game respawn constantly until a certain mechanic later lets us get rid of them permanently. Anyway, after fighting through the area, we finally collect all the puzzle clues, and after trying a few combinations, we unlock the door and find the Fox Mask Man waiting for us again, this time handing us a key. But the second we grab it, red smoke fills the room, and our childhood doll appears with a message that reads, "Don't trust the Fox Mask." What is happening in this game, bro? Before I can even process that, we're thrown straight into another chase sequence. This one not being a one hit, I still ended up taking a wrong turn and for this section, your main worry is really just knowing where to go. Not only that, they also spawn in, from my knowledge, 2 of those faceless monsters just to throw you off. When I get close to the exit door, I got cornered. But it gave me a perfect chance to show off a mechanic that's crucial for this entire run, the parry dodge. If you dodge an attack perfectly, it doesn't just slow down time, giving you a split second to think, it also fully restores your stamina. This right here is how we are going to survive these chase sequences. After finally getting through the door, something hits us out of nowhere and we black out. And when we wake up, we are back in the real world, with Shu holding us in his arms. It's clear now. Shu and Hinako have a close bond. Not lovers, but best friends. Both of us now have to find Rinko, the girl from earlier. I pick up my pipe, and just like that, Shu's gone. Lost in the fog already. Now that we've been given access to a large part of the town, you already know what time it is. Looting season. Scavenging every corner, we find a hole in the wall leading to an alley, and suddenly I hear something. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Trying to fight the alerted enemies just drains both health and focus, so I pull off a quick retreat back into the hole, giving us time to heal and reset. Reaching a dead end, we find a Hakashi, but of course, my inventory is full. Thankfully, just around the corner, we find another inventory upgrade, letting us grab the Hikashi and move on safely. Since I've been running from nearly every enemy up to this point, we finally lose line of sight, only to run straight into another one. This one was unavoidable, so I decided to take it out now to make sure it didn't jump me later on. Finally reaching the next Okura, we're able to upgrade for the first time. Since we built up enough faith and have Ima, I chose to upgrade our stamina because honestly, it's tragic. And as crazy as it may sound, in my opinion, it's way more important than health on this difficulty. Cutting into a shack, we find our first sickle, easily one of my favorite weapons in the game because of its speed. It lets us slip out of attacks like nothing. Finally catching up to Shu, we start discussing what's really going on here. At first, we thought this was all just a dream. Shu even suggests that we pinch ourselves, but of course, that doesn't work. We're now in a garden section, and this place is crawling with kashimashi, but with precious loot all around. You already know, we're gonna risk it anyway. Sneaking into a house through a window, which honestly brings me back to my sneaking link days. Wow. Turns out it's our doctor's house. Downstairs we find a box, and after checking every compartment, we score a drawer key, and also something straight out of Bloodborne. Hearing a noise, we enter the next room, instantly spawning an enemy. Being too close to escape, I decided to fight it and use this opportunity to practice my focus timing. Unfortunately, the house ends up being mostly just lore, so we move further down into the garden. And that's when things go downhill. We get sandwiched between enemies, and one of them ends up grabbing me. I didn't want to fight, not just because of durability, but because of time. And then a second Kashimashi joins, then a third. And as I'm running for my life, a fourth one pops up and grabs me too. What is this, bro? That's when I realized Lost in the Fog difficulty is not for the weak. There's a reason it's locked behind New Game Plus. Barely slipping away, we get cut off by the fog's infection, forcing us to cut through a nearby house. The door is locked, and of course the key is in the well outside. Already knowing what's coming, I loot everything nearby before triggering the cutscene. The quickest snatch I've ever seen in my life happens. We're now forced into our first mini-boss fight of the challenge. The goal, crank the well 3 times without getting hit to retrieve our key. The first time I played, I learned that after you beat this thing, it just respawns, and really fast. So on this difficulty, I didn't even want to imagine. Instead, I went with a strategy that no one seems to talk about. Ring around the rosy. If you're new to this channel, it's a classic strat around here. Every time we created enough distance, I'd crank the well once, then barely get away before his next attack. To make things worse, they also spawned in extra enemies to stress you out even more. So I take those out first, since they don't respawn here. Finally getting the key, we make our way through the house, or barn, whatever this place is. Hop through a window and finally reunite with Shu on the other side. We talk about how we used to play here, and how the last time Hinako cried was when she was little. She's the type to bottle everything up. Even if it was just for a second, it was pretty nice to take a break. Isn't that right, Shu? Shu? Hello? Welcome to whatever this is. We're now in the Scarecrow section, and this place introduces a new enemy, the Ayakakashi. These things move insanely fast, making them way harder to dodge. In this section, we've got to pull the correct pins out of the right scarecrows, and if we mess up, they instantly jump us. So you might be wondering, how on earth I handled this? Well, this game gives you clues on every single section, like this one. But me being here, I decided to just rely on my memory. Why? Because it worked last time. I'm pretty sure the order's the exact same on every difficulty anyway. What's not the same though is their backs being broken. Yeah, somebody needs to hold me back. Please, somebody. I really only struggled on the last scarecrow, mostly because I couldn't remember where it was, but after spotting the pointers on the floor, I eventually followed them to the final one. Solving it triggers a cutscene that leads us straight to Rinko's house. We wait patiently outside her door, and eventually she comes out. Only excited to see Shu. Yeah, I think she hates me. I wonder why. Once we're inside, we all start talking about our plan to escape. Eventually, we agree on heading to the bridge, but on our way downstairs, I notice our doll again. and before I can even process it, Rinko pushes us down the stairs. Hinako passes out instantly, and now she wakes up right back in the other world. In this next section, we've got to explore, but very carefully. Eventually, we come across another locked door, so now we're hunting for a key, and searching deeper inside another house, we find the storage key. Unlocking the storage room reveals our doll again with a message that reads, "Don't believe the fox's words. Stay away from the western room." So naturally, I do the complete opposite and immediately get jumped for it. But on the small podium nearby sits our next weapon in the streamlike state, the Naginata. Once again, it's a non-breakable, which is a huge relief. Despite having a shiny new toy, I decide to run instead of fight because I'm not risking any more health this early on. Reaching a large red door, we see two dog statues. One of them is holding the key that we found earlier, while the other's missing its piece. So our search continues. Following a strange voice, we're led into a library absolutely crawling with Kashimashi. After clearing them out, we open a door and discover a stone orb. The second we grab it, we're introduced to yet another new enemy, the Oi Amoy. Their name roughly translates to something like hey or yo, basically a way to get someone's attention. And let me tell you, they get your attention real fast. These things don't do a ton of damage, but they're insanely annoying, constantly stunning you and slowing you down. With our headache spiraling out of control, we sprint all the way back to the statues, place the stone orb in the missing dog's mouth, finally unlocking a way out of this madness. We enter the next room with a new objective: find the man in the fox mask. But the loot scattered around the square room, kind of suspicious. And if horror games have taught me anything, this means we've got a boss fight coming. For this fight, I like to break it down into two phases. The first phase is all about keeping your composure, because this boss will absolutely test your patience. She's got a full set of chain attacks that are designed to stun lock you, and with how low our stamina is, that's a death sentence. Her go-to move is baiting you into what looks like a regular swing, then immediately snapping her weapon back, turning it into a surprise double hit. So even when you think you're safe while attacking, you're really not. You have to constantly be on alert, knowing that her weapon could be swinging right back at you. Once we push her into phase 2, things only get worse. She starts teleporting around, charging up a massive attack that can do a ton of damage to you if it connects. The only real way to stop it is, well, by wearing headphones, because the sound cue plays long before she actually appears on the screen. When you hear it, sprint towards her and deal enough damage to cancel the attack before it lands. After dodging and canceling a few of those, we finally land the last hit, but she's not done yet. Out of nowhere, she charges up one more time and we barely survive, saved at the last second by the man in the fox mask. My guy literally takes back shots just to protect us. My goodness, what a man. Right after he banishes the spirit from this realm entirely, showing off his insane power. He then leads us to a fountain filled with water, but when we drink from it, it's revealed that the water isn't water at all, it's lava. This triggers a series of sequences showing 3 rituals from the base game: the arm, the mark, and the mask. Since this was my first time playing New Game Plus, I found it kind of interesting how they didn't make us play that part, but rather just gave us a little replay sequence. Not that I'm complaining for this challenge though, thank God. Waking up, we notice a sleeve is gone from the ritual. I think. Honestly, I have no idea. Grabbing our pipe, all 3 of us, Hinako, Shu, and Rinko, make our way towards Shu's house. But during that walk, something becomes pretty clear. Rinko's love interest is Shu, and she's so jealous of how Hinako and Shu are that she can't help but despise me. Forced to cut through the town, we run into multiple Kashimashi, since I didn't take them out earlier. My mistake. After fighting through the chaos, we finally catch up with Shu and Rinko, only to find ourselves at what looks like a dead end. Well, kind of. The dead end is actually a massive enemy blocking our way, so we head in the opposite direction, but that means our route to Shu's house is gone. Our new objective: make it to the middle school. Navigating through this town isn't going to be easy, but we do get the chance to upgrade again. With 1 extra EMA and enough faith, I decide to upgrade stamina once more. Now earlier, I already upgraded health and sanity, I just didn't show it. So just now we have 2 upgrades into stamina, 1 upgrade into health, and 1 upgrade into sanity, which is also the focus that I've been using. Finally arriving at the middle school, Shu suggests that we rest while he searches for a key to open the gate to the mountains. Of course, Rinko instantly bullies us, saying he shouldn't go alone and rather we should go. But she doesn't seem to offer any help either. So being the good friend we are and totally not jealous or anything, we decide to go by ourselves and let those 2 rest. The middle school is an interesting section. Our whole reason for being here is to find the key to the gate outside so we can finally reach the mountain. Upon entering, we instantly run into a Yakakashi, which is weird because they're not even supposed to spawn yet. Heading upstairs, there's a poster on the bulletin board that reads, Chrysanthemums grown by our very own vice principal have won the governor's prize. Did you know the vice principal has a green thumb? If you haven't already, take this opportunity to admire their beautifully pruned flower displays on the school grounds. So obviously, I take that as a sign to go snooping around the flower beds later. But first, I step into this tiny office with a locked box and another pinned note saying, to prevent students from going to the second floor, please ensure that the corridor is locked at the end of the day. When I head outside, I promise this last one, another paper reads, to all students, the game known as the Fox's Sacrifice is hereby banned. Okay, yeah. That's not suspicious at all. So with all that in mind, I go check the little shed. Partly to de-aggro enemies, but also because that's where the key is on the lower difficulties. And of course, it's not there. So my second guess, the flower beds. Scraping along the edge, trying not to alert the big guy stomping around, I eventually find an open window leading into a classroom. And what do you know? They're playing the Fox's Sacrifice. Here's how the game works. Students write their names on the board. One gets whatever they wish for while the others die. But when we check the board, it's revealed that we've played before along with everyone else. Kimi dies of cancer, Kanta, heart disease, Sachi, cancer, Sakuko, heart attack, Rinko, burned to death, Shu, suffocation, Kotoyuki, wishes will come true. And at the very top, us. Hinako disappeared. When we step outside again, the number of Yakakashi that spawn is astronomical. But hey, silver lining, we find another Amamori charm, the rabbit. This one lets us perform a heavy attack after a perfect dodge at the cost of a chunk of stamina. After finally finding the main building's second floor key, we head back inside and upstairs. Unlocking the door, we are greeted with a soft piano melody. Or at least we were. Eventually, we stumble into Hinako's old classroom. The moment we walk in, the door slams shut behind us, and now we are trapped, and the only way out is a puzzle. To solve it, you check your journal and pick only the fruits that are tart and sweet, or seasons like winter. Once cracked, we get the second floor classroom key. But when we try to leave, Junko appears, the girl from the very beginning.
お友達と楽しく過ごせた？ならそろそろお支度をなさい。もうお友達とはお別れの時間よ。お姉ちゃん。あなたが殺すのもあなたの手で。それができるからここへ来たのでしょ。
Seems to be calling to us, trying to transform us into whatever this place needs us to be. Exploring the rest of the second floor, we find a radio and... my goodness, the sounds coming from this thing is brutal. Stepping out, I feel a chill run up my spine. And sure enough, a creature breaks free from its still form and jumps us. But this time, I was ready. Homies Nomads, your boy's finally improving. Eventually, we make it to the locker room. I open every single one, but mid-animation, I get jumped out of the sequence. You literally can't make this up. After grabbing a few more upgrades and the cabinet key, we open the office storage and finally get what we came for. The gate to the mountains, and thank God, the middle school section is over. Heading back to Rinko and Shu, Shu offers to keep watch while we rest. And finally passing out, it's time to live up to my ultimate dream. Becoming a furry. Guys, I'm gonna start doing this again. Go follow my Instagram, baby. Did an ad just play? Are you kidding me? Planet Fitness? Did that just reveal my location? That did just reveal my location. We're not gonna show that. Anyways, I wanna start shouting on my Instagram again. We are at like 2,400 followers on there, and I know for a fact a lot of you don't even know I have an Instagram. A lot of you do though. We have a ton of fun over there. I'm not just saying that. Like genuinely, you can look at my stories, all the comments. I have comments up on my stories. You can comment, you can message me, we can talk. It's just a little bit more of a day-to-day basis personal community over there, I guess. This is like, YouTube is like where movies are uploaded and we have fun. But over there, just day to day, you know, I keep you guys updated on random things. I keep you guys updated on the videos. And we just have a ton of fun. You can ask anyone that has went over to my Instagram. Click this. Don't click it. You can't click it. There's nothing here. Go down into the description. Click my link. Or just search up this thing. right here. If you haven't played Silent Hill F before, first of all, I'm honored that you're watching this, and second, this is where things get real. Hinako undergoes the 3 rituals that we saw earlier, and it transformed her into a literal monster. It's kind of terrifying, but also kind of useful. We gain a few new abilities, her extremely large arm, her sight letting us see through certain walls, and finally the power to permanently get rid of the enemies. Now our goal is to open the sacred door. Exploring to the right, we find this weird contraption puzzle. Switches that open and close gates to specific color order. Not too hard to figure out, but I still managed to mess it up a few times. At the end of the tunnel, we find Sakuko locked in a cage and 2 missing lanterns on the podium. If it isn't clear by now, we're about to do exactly what the older sister told us to do. Not gonna lie, this puzzle nearly broke me. 20 minutes of just spinning those dogs' faces until it finally clicked. But once we got the 2 lanterns, we placed them and give Sakuko a proper death.
Hinako! Hinako, 助けて! 助けて! 行かないで! 一人にしないで! 待って! 行かないで! ずっと一緒って約束したじゃん！裏切り者！
Her sacrifice complete, we move on to the next. This time we need to collect 3 medallions. Yeah, I'm getting Resident Evil flashbacks too. The first one's in a classroom with a pathetic little jump scare, the second's in a storage area, and the third, a doll room. Jeez. Just get me out of here. After collecting all 3, we drop Rinko into the lava, living up to the fox's sacrifice. Once the door opens, there's one left. The final ritual is Shu. To complete it, we need 3 of his prized possessions. The first one's found deep in a hallway, a drawing of Hinako. I wish I could say the other 2 were that easy. Behind the next door, we are greeted with a birthing monster, representing Hinako's fear of societal norms. But honestly, I was more worried about the physical pain part rather than the symbolism. Drinking Arkakozu to slowly regain stamina and health, we push forward. The monster itself wasn't that bad, but its little babies. Absolute demons. Constant acid being thrown at my face, mixed in with the enemies everywhere, I was close to dying. But one thing saved me, her power move. Once her meter is completely full, Hinako can unleash her true form, giving us infinite health and boosted damage. That clutch transformation saved us at the last second. Thank God. Down in the lower area, we find a ray gun, Shu's second possession, upstairs the third. Once all 3 were placed, the door opens and there's Shu. As always, he's supportive, calm, even after everything. But unfortunately, we still have to kill him to move on. Meeting back up with the Fox Mask Man, he asks us if it was difficult. At first, we say yes, but then immediately snap back with a cold no. Now back in the real world, we see Shu and Rinko are gone. But we had a plan, right? Meet up at his place. It's not like we just killed those 2 or anything, right? Stepping through the gate, the fog follows right behind us, closing in fast before finally getting cut off by a fallen tree. That thing was way too close for comfort. On her way up to the mountain, Hinako keeps trying to convince herself that Shu and Rinko just left her and not, you know, the much darker alternative. At another Hokora, we finally get a breather and some upgrades. We've got 3 in health, 3 in sanity, and 4 in stamina. Finally moving up in the road, huh? A little further up, we find an axe stuck in a tree. Now these types of weapons are slow, but they hit really hard. Used at the right moment, they're lifesavers. We reach a small cabin and spot a little Kashimashi, just peacefully sleeping. But I knew what was up. I tried creeping around to trigger it, didn't work, so I took the bait. And yeah, the moment I turned back, she lunged. Feeling offended beyond belief, I took her down and kept moving. The next area was crawling with enemies, way too many to fight head on, so I decided to pull them off one by one, picking them off from a distance. I couldn't just run through either since they had wooden barricades to move, and that itself takes way too long, and it's way too risky with the monsters still breathing down my neck. Once the path is finally clear, we pushed the barricade aside and moved into the next stretch of the mountain. 2 words. Back-to-back chase sequence. Or that's more than 2 words. For this part, we've got to maneuver through non-stop ambushes, enemies jumping left and right, forcing me to rely on dodge timing and memory just to survive. And of course, I still end up taking the wrong turn here. Man, I was stressing. Making it to the gate, we trigger a cutscene showing how we barely escaped. But it's not over yet, because now we've got to do the exact same thing all over again, just with a little less stamina and twice the panic. So yeah, we barely make it out. Now, I think this is a good part in the challenge to clear something up. During this run, I've died quite a lot. I don't show every death for pacing purposes, but just know this wasn't some perfect one-take miracle. Trust me, there were plenty of trial and error. Finally, we make it to Shu's house, but something's off. It's completely empty, and while looking at an old photo, we finally hear someone by the door.
Shu!
Homie's no mess. That's the fog monster. And I'm not joking, that's literally her name. Back in the other world, our doll starts to warn us again while Hinako is out here horror farming like a true menace.
姿が見えなくとも一緒にいるのを感じます。
Now fully powered up, I finally get to show off my Blood Wall abilities. We catch up with the Foxman, who leads us through what seems like a cult of owls, or I guess, foxes. It's a long, quiet walk, and eventually on the left-hand side, we see our sister. I genuinely didn't notice this until I was editing. That's terrifying. At the end of the path, you guessed it, another boss fight. The Rinko Entity. This fight is wild. The moment it starts, we already have a power-up active, which helps us get an early damage lead. But after it runs out, we've got to wait for it to recharge again, which means we're stuck playing passive-aggressive dodgeball with demons. Rinko's got a lot of attacks, but mainly the most annoying ones are her exploding henchmen. They literally throw themselves at you while detonating when you're not looking. It's really hard to focus on 4 enemies at once while managing stamina and trying to deal damage to Rinko herself. She also has a lava attack that floods a huge area, instantly killing anything in its radius. But after surviving the chaos long enough to charge up her second power-up, I deal just enough damage that when it lands, all it takes are a few final swings, and she is down.
見たくなかった。リンコのこんな姿。でも今は嬉しい。 お別れに際して私たちはようやく本音を語り合えたね。
And I can only assume the fox guy is only impressed. Still partially overlapping with the real world, we know it's not over yet. We hear a phone ringing inside of Shu's house. When we answer it, it's our mom, but something's off. We drop the phone and further ahead stands our sister. She starts talking about fully embracing the fox call, and for the first time in this run, it really hits me. We're not just fighting monsters anymore. We are becoming one. With our sister disappearing into the fog and our mom calling, telling us we need to come home. That's all we can really do. The way to the Shimizu Residence is completely blocked off. Birthing monsters everywhere, random enemies spawning like the game just knows you were stupid enough to attempt this difficulty. The town is almost completely gone now. Swallowed by the fox infection, the game's nearing its end, but the challenge still full of obstacles waiting to ruin me. Arriving at a small park, we get a flashback, an early formative moment for Hinako. She meets a boy named Kotoyuki, who becomes central to her story. A fox attacks him, and instead of checking on the boy first, Hinako runs to comfort the fox. It's a small detail, but it's everything. That choice sets the foundation for a strange bond between them. Finally making it home, everything feels off. Exploring, we eventually find a room filled with paintings, something that's going to matter later on. This section of the house is split into 3 mirrored versions of the same area, each one slightly warped. To reach them, you have to place calendars found around the house on specific walls, and your goal is to find 3 medallions to unlock the main door. The vibe here is heavy, and during one flashback, we see Hinako's family at dinner. Her father drowning in debt, drinking the coke, and taking out his anger on everyone, mostly the mother, but sometimes on Hinako too. Oh, and at one point, I found this room. I genuinely have no idea what I'm looking at, but pretty sure the eye's following me. Please anyone explain it in the comments. I don't know what this is. Surprisingly, this whole section didn't give me much trouble, gameplay wise. Most enemies could be outrun, and since this is my 3rd playthrough, I already knew where every medallion was, one of them being inside of that painting room that I mentioned earlier. Even the puzzles went down easy this time. Before progressing, we are hit with one of the most fascinating cutscenes in the game, Hinako talking to herself. She might win for real. A metaphorical confrontation, her facing a reflection of her own identity. The fox version of herself representing all her suppressed desires and role society tried to force on her. The whole thing is fueled by red capsules Shu gave her, meant to make her confront her fears about her upcoming arranged marriage. But instead, it's turned into a full-blown hallucination, a war between who she is and who she's expected to be. With the lore stuff out of the way, when we finally unlock the main door, we see them. Our 3 main friends, dead, confirming they've been gone for a long time. And just when we think it's over, we face our father. The moment he raises his hand, Hinako freezes, PTSD hitting instantly. This fight isn't just about surviving, it's a test of endurance. Physical, yes, but mostly mental. This is the first boss I did not practice. This is the only boss I did not practice in this game. I'm a little bit nervous. Come here, old man! Okay, that's a great start. Please don't hit me. Please, okay. Okay, all right. Gosh, that's not good. Oh my gosh, how did that not hit me? God is protecting me once again, my goodness. Oh! Oh my gosh. I equipped an upgrade. How did that not hit me? I equipped an upgrade that allows like perfect dodges. Can this guy get away from me, please? Thank you. It allows me to like do those perfect dodges like more easily, so I don't have to be perfect on the parries, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It's really hard to explain. Stop! Why is he doing that? Why is he delaying his attacks like he's an Elden Ring boss? You are not Elden Ring! I'm gonna my neck's almost broken. My neck. Thank you. Oh, this makes perfect sense, Hinako. Don't you worry. You see what I'm talking about though? Like it's happening way more often. Like I'm allowing myself to, okay. Oh! How am I not dead? How am I not dead? How am I not dead right now? I should 100% be. Gosh dang it. I tried to block it. That's okay. Yes! Alright, we don't even have to do damage to the small guy, but let's go, baby! Let's go! With our dad finally being beaten, we follow the monster deeper inside and see both our parents walking straight into the fog. And, yeah, things don't end too well for them. Back in the Fox's world, we drink a restorative drink. The Fox Max says he wants to show us something, but when we reach the room, he pulls a classic catfish move. Yep, it's another puzzle. And you'll never guess what we have to find this time. 3 medallions. someone kill me. All three are locked behind waves of enemies, but it's not too bad. A few close calls and a little patience, some heals, nothing I couldn't handle. Still, I'm thinking I really need to save up my heals for whatever the final boss is waiting for me. Along the way, we run into Junko, who tells us, kill the monster, finish it. I can only assume she's talking about the fog monster, right? Once we complete the puzzle, the Foxman appears again. He hands us a small box with a ring inside, and when it's placed on the statue, he says something cryptic.
これで最後だ。よくここまでついてきてくれた。
一緒だからここまで来られました。
もうわずかな辛抱だ。
And I start to realize things are about to go way deeper. Back in the real world, Hinako is completely losing it after watching her parents die right in front of her. All she wants now is the fog monster dead. When she finally confronts it, the creature completely and obviously overpowers her. Then Junko appears again, but this time, she's saying the opposite. She's telling the fog monster to kill us. And when, damn. Oh my gosh, that was so bad. Oh my god. There's no way. There's actually no way. And when she hesitates, she whispers, "It's for your own good." The scene cuts, and suddenly, we're next to the fox mask again. Hinako's body starts to twist, her skin splitting, she's transforming into the fog's infection. And then it hits. Hinako becomes the fog monster. This entire time, we were the monster hunting our own self. When Junko told us to kill it, she wasn't talking about killing the monster. She was telling us to kill our old self, to let go and become it. Now, before the final fight, yes, we're actually about to beat this thing. We've got one more thing to do. Or I guess 3 more things left to do. There are 3 mini boss phases leading up to the top of the hill. And during these fights, I really, and I mean really, try not to get hit. Because if I did, that would be less precious heals that I would be able to use on the final boss. And trust me, we are really going to need those. So after beating all 3 and completely ignoring any side areas, because I'm not gonna risk it this late, we finally make it to the top where we, yes we, kill our parents. And just like that, we're teleported into the final fight. Non-transform Hinako versus the fog monster. And I'm gonna be honest, I literally saved the game, went back and practiced this fight for an entire day straight. Does that still count? Is this cheating? I don't know. But since I'm the first person dumb enough to attempt this, I'm gonna say it is. I'm gonna say it's okay, all right? Now here's what I learned about this fight. The fog monster's attacks are completely brutal. Straight up Mortal Kombat combos that will destroy your health bar. The boss is split into 3 phases. Phase 1, what I like to call unseasoned. This is your warm up. I try to preserve all my heals, buffs, and repair kits here. I had 1 knife and 2 pipes, but the knife was my go-to. It's fast, responsive, and easy to dodge with. The repair kits, those were only for the knife. Never waste them on the pipes. Phase 2, she starts using the environment against you. She floods the area with red vines, making dodging insanely risky. She's faster, more aggressive, and way more dangerous. Then comes Phase 3. She unleashes an attack I can't even exaggerate enough. Do not get caught in this. She covers the entire area in red vines that explode after a few hits, and the damage is massive. By this point, I downed 2 pots of coffee, 6 monsters, and my hands were shaking, my brain was melting, and this was life or death, homies and homies. My knife eventually broke, forcing me to switch to the pipe, and somehow, we did it. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Hey, let's go, baby! But the game still wasn't done with me. We had to run one last time, and that's when I noticed something. They literally gave us 99 red pills. Fading in and out of reality, the game ends on a nasty cliffhanger. The fog monster is still not fully defeated. Unfortunately, I didn't get the secret ending, but if you want to see me go for it next time on a different video, comment below and let me know. Homies and omats, the challenge has been conquered, and oh my goodness, this one was brutal. Here's the proof that I actually played on Lost in the Fog, by the way. Big thanks again to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. Use my link in the description and pin comment to download Opera GX today and start customizing your own horror experience. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This video took me a really long time. It's a brand new game. There's like nothing about it on how to be good, so this was kind of insane. I'm not gonna lie, kind of insane. Appreciate you guys, homies and omats. I will see you all in the next one. See you.